Right. It was Heidegger who really put his finger on it. There's something really wonky about time. Time exists as it is in beings. And so although it is indefinite, perhaps infinite in the past, it is all too finite in the future. Each man, each being, faces in a sense his own Armageddon. The world dies when they die. And so Heidegger says, you will be judged, and you will judge yourself at the end. Not by who you are, so much as what you bequeath. 9 steps back, doomed and dying, Thor the immortal finally falls. Then death is the portion of gods, and blood the portion of man, and fire the portion of the world. For Surt will take the world and set it ablaze. I saw the sun turn black, the spring after, and fall once again beneath the waves. The Elder Edda. And so Snorri ends the world, ends the Viking world, in a blaze of glory, and then resurrects it, with all the anemic, uninteresting gods coming back from the path of the dead, and then he traps them in a new tale, a new cycle. And so the Vikings leave the world of heroes, but we're never quite sure what they would bequeath afterwards. But it is not really to Snorri, I think, you have to go. If you would think, what does it mean to leave, or would they leave something to a world where I am not? Oh no. It is to the man who really lived through the end of the world. Oh, I mean it. Chesterton this time. For the end of the world was long ago, when Rome drowned beneath the waste of slaves, and the sun sank beneath the sea, and that we that dwell on are children of some second creation, born after Judgment Day. The man then who understood what it was to bequeath beyond your time was the man who lived through the death of antiquity. Writing when Alaric was howling at the gates of Rome, with Gaisric sharpening his swords, and all the Hunnish hordes pouring east, pouring from the east, bringing with them a plague that will wipe out 2/3 of Europe. All this he lived through. Who I mean, writing in Roman North Africa, but St. Augustine. And St. Augustine's answer was one that made modern man. Because he understood something about what it means to talk about who will come. That the question of what you bequeath is really a question of what, how, and why. What? Augustine's remarkable achievement was that he was the man who split the mind, more powerful than splitting the atom. He broke the mind between a public world and a private, the city of man, blown by the winds of time, and the city of God, where all was eternal. A city then of man where you could act as you wished, and a city of good conscience, where you must be true to yourself, where you must follow your heart. He split the mind then between a reason and a heart, between thought and feeling, between what you thought you ought to do because people told you, and what your conscience told you. He created then the modern mind. But more than that, he understood how you live beyond the apocalypse. How? By turning education into a battlefield. You see, Augustine realized that if you are going to control what comes after, you've got to understand education is not about instructing people in useful skills, let alone personal fulfillment. Oh no. It is in education each generation ingrains what they will have come after them and how they are remembered. To be a society, to be successful, to save antiquity, is to educate aright, to teach the mores of Greece, to make people desire it, to remake yourselves in other minds. But Augustine knew that all of this was as nothing. You might know what you were saving and how, but it was why that opened the gates of eternity. Why would you live beyond the end of the world? Why would you try and save something? For him, it was beautifully, beautifully simple. Why? For the love of Christ. And for us? Facing our own apocalypse? Is not that the question we all stumble at? We all might know what we say, but how we might do it, we blindly seek for why.